Welcome back to another deep dive. And for those of you practicing your English with us today, just remember that this is a totally relaxed, judgment-free space.
Yeah, you really don't need to stress over catching every single vocabulary word. Just listen, relax, and let the natural English flow.
Exactly. So today, our mission is to unpack something called hustle culture exhaustion. We're looking at sources that explore this modern societal pressure to, constantly monetize our hobbies.
Right, that feeling that if you're even slightly good at a fun activity, you absolutely have to turn it into a side business.
It's exhausting. It's like, say you bake a really nice, simple loaf of sourdough bread on a Sunday.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Right. You post one picture online, and immediately the comments are like, you need to sell these or you should start a micro bakery.
Yep. And just like that, you take your cozy, private living room and force it to operate as a high-stress factory floor.
Which is exactly what I did with watercolor painting a few years ago. I tried doing custom portraits for cash, and suddenly I just dreaded picking up a brush. It felt exactly like a second job.
That is so common. You accidentally ruin the activity by trying to profit from it. Actually, before we get too deep, maybe we should quickly do our word tour segment just to help our B1 and B2 listeners anchor the conversation.
Oh, perfect idea. Let's start with the big one, hustle culture.
Right. So hustle culture is basically this modern social attitude that glorifies constant productivity. It's the relentless pursuit of financial success, usually at the direct expense of your rest or your relationships.
Yeah, the idea that stopping for even one day makes you lazy. Which leads us to our second word, monetize.
Monetize. That just means taking something like a skill, a hobby, or a platform and converting it into a source of income.
Turning your fun into funds, basically.
Okay.
And the third term we need today is pure joy.
I love this one. Pure joy is just a feeling of happiness that is completely untouched by expectation or productivity. It's doing something entirely because it makes you feel alive.
And that pure joy is exactly what hustle culture is quietly destroying. The sources actually describe this pressure to monetize as fear of missing out dressed in a productivity costume.
That's a great way to put it.
But what does this actually do to our relationship with rest? Like, why does monetizing a hobby go from fun to exhausting so fast?
Well, true hobbies are meant to be a healthy escape. They allow you to safely lose yourself, rebuild your focus, and kind of defend against modern brain rot.
So the reward is literally just the act of doing it.
Exactly. But the second you monetize an activity, you introduce strict deadlines. You introduce paying customers, quality control.
It's performance. You replace play with performance.
Yes. You end up burning the candle at both ends. And the inevitable result of that shift is burnout. The sources define this as a deep inner fatigue where your body, mind, and soul simply say, I can't.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate for a second here.
Go for it.
In today's demanding economy, rent is high, groceries are expensive. If you have a natural talent for something, isn't it just practical and smart to monetize it?
That is the exact tension the text explores. On the surface, it sounds incredibly practical, but it hits on a much deeper philosophy, which is that your value as a human being has to be bigger than your job.
Right, because when every spare moment has to justify its existence with a profit margin.
Adults completely forget how to play. Healing doesn't begin with perfecting a side hustle. It begins with play.
So we need to separate our self-worth from our productivity.
Exactly. The sources argue we need to normalize doing things badly just for fun. Like paint an incredibly ugly picture simply because splashing the colors around makes you smile.
Discover what it feels like to be genuinely bad at something without it mattering in the slightest.
Yes, your free time belongs strictly to you. Doing something purely for joy is actually a genuine act of resistance against a culture that's trying to commodify every corner of human life.
I really love that. A hobby enjoyed for its own sake is not a missed opportunity. It's just a return to yourself.
Exactly. Not everything beautiful needs to be useful.
Well said. So, to wrap up today, I want to leave you with a provocative thought. If you completely stopped viewing your free time as an asset to be optimized, what beautifully useless thing would you go do today just to feel alive?